Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Backyard Build. I know it's been 2 weeks, but I'm going to try to start putting out a video every other week now. I've been doing it every Friday, and it's getting a little bit hard to get it all filmed and edited and all that stuff and put out in just 1 week and have it be good content. And I really want to put out good content to continue to grow this channel so that, you know, we can take it farther and farther and farther and make better builds. So we're going to be working on the Coronet this week, obviously. We're going to get the other side frame rail put on, or replaced anyway, and then get into putting a bunch of AMD front end parts on, like the inner fenders, radiator core support, all that good stuff. But make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe, because we really need to get up to 1,000 subscribers to really start making money, so I can start buying some really nice parts and stuff and really make it really good content for you guys. So please subscribe. It would really help us out. All right, enough talking. Let's get into it. All right, I'm going to start getting the side of the frame rail cut out here. I'm going to cut it along here and then up. Already got the new patch piece made with all the factory holes and everything, just like I did on the other side. I just need to weld the bumper weld nut piece back on the back here, so that when the bumper needs to be mounted, the holes will line up just like the factory. So, all right, let's get this piece cut out. Alright, so it's the next day. We're going to start getting too dark last night to film. So anyway, we're going to jump back into working on a frame rail. So let's get into it. Frame rail piece all shaped to how it needs to be. Now I just got to get the bumper weld plate, or nut plate, on the back of the frame rail side here. And then we can get it welded in place. So let's get this build on. Okay, so I got this side of the frame rail replaced. I just sprayed it, so it's still wet. It needs to dry, obviously. But now we can move on to doing the inside one, because as you can see, it's completely screwed. We'll make it look nice like the other side. So let's cut this one off and get the new piece put in. Okay, so I need to move the steering box so that I can get in here and make some cuts or whatever. So let's get the steering box removed. Okay, so I got the steering box out. Now I can get the spot weld right here, get that drilled out, and then finish the cut down right here, and then cut along the bottom to get that piece out. Okay, so I got the patch piece made up. I got it, the weld through copper primer on the back side here. Now I just got to plug weld these holes right here, and then I can weld it all up solid. So let's get that done. Okay, so I got it all welded up and ground down. Now I just need to tape it off so when I spray it, I don't get any of the zero rust on the surfaces that I need to put the weld through copper primer on. So that way it'll actually not be contaminated when I weld it. So anyway, let's get this taped off and then we'll get it sprayed. Okay, so I got all the holes drilled out for doing the spot welds, or the plug welds coming from the back side. And then I got the templates made up and the holes drilled for plug welding them, welding down to that bracket right there, and then this one for going on to here. So let's get those in place. Okay, so I finished getting all this ground down. I just need to shoot that with some paint. And then I already sprayed in here with some paint, some weld through copper primer, because that's where the inner fender is going to get welded on along there. Once that's dry, I'll put some tape on it, and then I'll be able to spray the rest of the frame rail there with some zero rust. So that's all sealed up. So we'll wait for this weld through copper primer to dry, and then we'll get it taped up and painted. Alright, so we finally got the frame rails all finished up. Let me show you here. Got them all done up with the factory notches, holes. Looks good on both sides. I trimmed this one down. I had left this one up. I'm sure everybody noticed. It was sticking up a little bit. I left that extra tall so that I could just trim it back down to the right height after the fact. This one on this side, I decided just to do it pretty much right even with the top of it when I did it so I wouldn't have to cut it. So. But they look really nice. Got the factory notches, little tabs sticking up here. So I think they came out pretty darn good. Look a heck of a lot better than the pieces of junk that were still in there. So next we're going to start putting on the inner fenders and the radiator core support, and then we can start reassembling it. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and work on getting all these remnants of the welds from where I drilled out the spot welds ground down so that it's all cleaned up, and get all the scale and stuff off of there, and then get it all sprayed with the weld through copper primer. So let's get that done. Okay, so I got all the spot welds ground down, and cleaned up. So now I'm going to come through with the weld through copper primer and paint that, and then when that dries I'll tape that off and then paint all the rest of this. That's going to be back here that I had all the scaling from when the factory did it. Spray all that with zero rust. So let's get that done. Okay, I got the weld through copper primer on here and the zero rust on both sides. So now I'm ready to start fitting up the inner fenders and the radiator core support, and then make sure everything's set just right before I start welding it in place. Let's get that done. Okay, so I got all these new AMD parts. I got the lower radiator core support, the main radiator core support, and the inner fenders. So let's get those unboxed. Okay, so I have the inner fender sitting in here. I have it clamped in place so it can't move. I had the clamp up there located in that oval shape. And then I put the bottom one on there so it can't move. And then I set the fender on there and got the door gap and stuff all set nice. Got the gap along here set nice, so I know that the fender is exactly where it needs to be. And now, when I go to put the self tappers in there so that the inner fender can't move, I know that everything's going to line up because I got the holes all lining up all along here. So let's get the self tappers in so it can't move, and then we can pull the fender back off, and then we can drill out the holes where we're going to plug weld it. So let's get that done. Okay, so I took my pin and I drew a line right along here, going up along the shock tower arch here, and here, so that when I take it off, I know I just need to drill my holes out for the plug welding towards the outside of the edge of the line here. So let's get the inner fender off and get those holes drilled out. Okay, so it's the next day. Last night I was working on getting this ground down and weld through copper primered, and after I did it I realized totally had a brain fart, which told me it was time to end the day because I was exhausted. So I accidentally painted both sides with the copper primer, and I only meant to spray the back side on this side, not this side, but oh well, it'll still weld and everything, but I was a little upset with myself. But anyway, so let's get this fitted up and get it on. Okay, so I put this fender back on. I have all the self-tappers in there to keep that set. I haven't welded in or nothing, but I wanted to put the whole front end together so I can make sure it's right. So I put the other fender on as well. Got it all lined up to where you can see that the door gap is nice and even on this side and nice and even on this side, as well as I got the bottom of the frame rails. You can see the bubble level is right there in the center, and then on top of the radiator core support is also center. So I know everything's lined up. So now I just need to put the self tappers on that one to keep it from moving, and then I can get everything welded in. So let's get that done. The Weld 2 copper primer on here. I'm gonna remember to put it on only the back side this time, so let's get that sprayed. Well, that made a mess or wherever the cap started leaking, so it started splattering everywhere, but it just needs to be on there for where the surfaces come together. Everything's gonna get painted with zero rust and then painted anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway, we'll let that dry and then we'll get it on the car. Okay, so I got it all welded in place, so I'm gonna get that all ground down and then we'll be back. Okay, so I got as far as I can. I was really hoping to get the front end done and get it all sealed up with zero rust. But I'm running out of time. I still have to edit this video so I can put it out tomorrow so you guys can see it. I got the passenger side fender all welded in, or inner fender anyway, and the driver's side inner fender almost all the way welded in. Still have a few more welds to do and then grind it down. And then I have the radiator core support is all welded in the top corners here on both sides and down here on the frame rail, so it's all good and solid. So but I don't have time to finish up and get this edited tonight and get it put out tomorrow for you guys. So stay tuned for the next one, and we'll see more getting done on the front end here. So all right, we'll see you in the next one.